What is going on, everyone? A huge thank you for clicking on the video. I greatly appreciate that as always. Now, today I am doing something a bit daring. I am doing the unthinkable, even. Today, I am taking a look at yet another Mario Kart 64 ROM hack, this time in the form of Pokémon Kart 64. Yes, I know, another Mario Kart 64 ROM hack. If you follow my channel at all, I've done a few of these. In fact, I think one of my first videos was Dragon Ball Z Kart 64. There's also Slasher Kart 64. And, you know, I really didn't think that I would do another one, just because they're, you know, on the surface, they're kind of just the same thing. There's not really a whole lot different about them, but it's also Mario Kart 64. It's a fantastic game. And whenever I saw Pokemon Kart 64 was a thing, I knew I had to break it. I had to do it. I absolutely had to do it. Pokemon is my bread and butter, so how can you go wrong, right? Now, assuming I did my research correctly, Pokémon Kart 64 was created by Shrugboat, and the game itself, the ROM, not this actual cartridge. I definitely want to put separation between the creator and everything, so they didn't make the cartridge, but they did make Pokémon Kart 64, so assuming I did my research correct, huge shout out to Shrugboat for creating what appears to be an awesome ROM hack. Now, I did not get a box this time around. A lot of my 64 game videos, I don't usually do a box. I grew up with my 64. I don't think I ever bought a new 64 game. They were always used. Boxes are cardboard, so they don't really hold up too well anyways. Kind of just, it's hit or miss whether I get a box for the 64. This one, it didn't really feel like I needed one, and in general, they're bigger, they take up more space, so I did not pursue a box with this one, though generally speaking, I do like to have a box with my games, just more of a physical representation of the product. You know, I typically think they're awesome, but this time around, no box this time. We just have the cartridge here, which looks pretty nice. I will point out right here, if you couldn't tell, a little bit of a gap there. I think they definitely could have centered this sticker a bit more, but I will say the art of the sticker is really nice. It's kind of capturing that Mario Kart 64. I'm sure you're familiar with how that looks, so they're kind of recreating that here with Pokemon. Got the Pokemon tags, Kart 64, a couple of Pokemon on there, Bulbasaur, Cubo, and Pikachu. It looks awesome. I absolutely love the way that this art looks. I wish we had a box to look at, but, you know, that's my choice, I suppose. But moving on to the back here, you know, pretty standard looking cartridge. I'll say the feel everything, it feels fine. It definitely doesn't feel like an OEM cartridge. It's definitely a reproduction cartridge there, that much I can tell. But it doesn't feel cheap. Like, it doesn't feel like it's just gonna break if I drop it, you know, like some carts do. But I would say overall, it looks nice, minus this, you know, centering job. I think we maybe could have done better there. But either way, I'm liking the way that this thing looks. And for no real reason at all, I'm just going to go ahead and show my other Kart 64-esque games here. Like I said, I've done a few over the years here, but these are the three I've hit so far. Slasher Kart, Dragon Ball Kart, and of course, Pokemon Kart now. Kind of getting the trifecta here. Will I do another one? I don't know, but we haven't gotten there just yet. But yeah, I mean, kind of got one of each color. I think I've seen different colors for Pokemon Kart 64. I just happened to get a gray one, which is totally fine, but I don't know, I kind of just like having them, you know? Maybe I will add more to the collection, who knows? And for those who might be interested, here is the board here. Ignore my light and fan in the background. I've been trying to get better at opening these cartridges up. I know a lot of people typically ask me to see what the inside looks like. So here's the board we're working with here. I obviously wish I had more info to give you, but this is what it is. Obviously, this is no Everdrive, Flash Kart, Summer Kart, all the different ones out there. Nothing quite like that. This is a pretty standard bare bones reproduction-esque card, I guess you could say. And, you know, obviously they're not as high quality. That's a given. But I personally have not had really any issues with these. You know, I've definitely had an issue here and there with maybe like a Game Boy. But as far as 64 ones go, everything seems to check out. I've not had any issues, but obviously that remains to be seen with this one. So this is the board here. Get a good look. And yeah. So with the physical aspect out of the way here, looking pretty good for the most part, we're going to go ahead and pop this into the 64 here and see if it works. Here we are with Pokemon Kart 64, and guess what? It works, which is of course the best thing we could hope for with the cartridge, and I'm also excited to report no glitches. I'm pretty sure at this point I've played each track at least twice now, if not more, and nothing funky ever happened with the game. It runs smooth, no weird hiccups or anything like that, so that of course is perfect. I also probably should have mentioned this at the top of the video, but apparently this game does not need the Red RAM expansion pack. That's right, does not need it. Which is cool, but a little odd. I'm pretty sure all or most of the 64 games I've looked at on the channel, they needed it, but allegedly this one does not. I don't actually have a jumper pack either, otherwise I would test that, but that's what I'm reading online. That does not need the Red RAM expansion pack. Now, with all of that aside, what about the game? Well, let me just say, it's awesome, and of all of the Mario Kart hacks I've played, this one might make the most sense. Like, it blends these two worlds best. I can almost see this Pokemon, being a part of the Mario world. Like, their aesthetics, they kind of feel similar. I feel like it works the best. And honestly, after playing this game, I'm questioning how we haven't actually had an official Pokemon Kart racer. Like, I feel like that would sell like hotcakes. But just of all of the other hacks I've played so far, I think these two blend the best. So what's new about this game exactly? Because it is essentially just Mario Kart with a different coat of paint, but that doesn't mean there isn't new stuff. Like, of course, our characters are racers, and it looks like we've got Pikachu, go figure, Bulbasaur, Meowth, Tangela, Cubone, Slowpoke, Porygon, and Gengar. A pretty solid selection, though I do find it a bit odd leaving out Charmander and Squirtle. Just having all of the starters there would have been cool, or Eevee maybe, but that's okay. I was always more of a Bulbasaur guy anyway, so I guess I win. Also, I love the effort put here as well. It's not just slapped on pictures, they actually animated it, and each one has their own voice lines, presumably from the anime, not the video games, because they're all just saying their names. Well, I guess Porygon doesn't say its name, he just makes weird-ass noises. Also, in the beginning, you have that announcer, or whatever you want to call him, not sure what you call him, but, he's actually saying Pokémon Kart, which is another nice touch. I kind of figured we'd probably just hear Pikachu say Pika or something, so just those little things, it's very commendable. Now, moving on to maybe the best part is the tracks. So, no new tracks, of course, but sort of retextured maps with a more Pokemon feel. And I'll go ahead and get my negatives out of the way first. There's a few maps or tracks that do feel a bit empty or unchanged, which I'm pretty sure is the case for all of the other Mario Kart hacks, but for example, Tangela's Turnpike, pretty much just Toad's Turnpike, not a whole lot of difference there. Or DK's Jungle Parkway, it adds the SS and to the boat, which is a nice touch. I kind of expected that to be there whenever I started the course, but that's pretty much it in terms of differences, and there's a few other tracks like that that just didn't change all that much. But we of course have some banger tracks as well, and first one up that surprised me the most was Porygon Circuit, or Wario Stadium, I'm pretty sure is what it used to be called. This one kind of blew my mind. Typically I think it's a pretty forgotten track, at least in terms of ROM hacks, like not a whole lot of difference there, but in here it got quite the glow up. You have this complete texture change of the entire track that kind of gives it this cyber, digital, almost Tron vibe, which is very Porygon, which I love, and it's definitely one of the most standout tracks here. We also got Tauros Farm, which of course, Tauros replacing all of the cows, as well as the Diglets popping out of the ground instead of, I think, the Monty Moles. And I really love how they include all the different Pokemon in these tracks. It's simple, but it also helps sell this as a unique game. But we've got a few other Pokemon inclusions here. You've got Zubats replacing other bats, and whatever those Spectre Ghost things with the Sylph Scope, those are replacing the Boos, of course. And then Butterfree actually starts the countdown of each race, in the beginning. And then, of course, Geodude is our lap boy. So each lap you come around, you'll have Geodude kind of fly in there. And if you happen to get shafted at any point while playing and, fall off the map, a Magnemite will slowly lift you back up. But I really do like these little Pokemon Easter eggs on the tracks. You got like the different billboards in the maps being little Pokemon references, or you got the weird Pikachu snowman. They got the little Pikachu hats and they explode. I don't really get that one. I don't know. That was kind of a strange choice, but I like it. It's Pikachu. But possibly the best track, if not Porygon's, has got to be Rainbow Road, right? Not normally my favorite track in vanilla Mario Kart, but in these ROM hacks, it's always something I look forward to. You get all of these colorful, different Pokemon appearing in the sky. It's just so cool. It looks so good. It's always fun to look at. And I guess this is where Charmander and Squirtle are hanging out. They're just floating in the sky there instead of racing. It's simple at the end of the day, I know, but all of the bright colors and even the Pokeballs on the map replacing the Chain Chomps, it's just awesome. It always makes this track memorable. And if you do happen to play this ROM hack, which I highly recommend you do, let me know down below what your favorite track is, which one you feel is the coolest or the most unique. I definitely want to get your guys' opinions on this. Now for the items. Fittingly, we have Pokeballs replacing the shells. You've got regular Pokeballs for the red shells and then some kind of green ball for the green shells. I don't think there's just a plain green Pokeball, but maybe I'm wrong. I've seen other green ones, but not just plain. Either way, it looks great. You also got those rice cake patty things. I don't know what they're called, but you know, that thing that they eat in all the different animes typically when they're snacking or whatever. Sometimes they get replaced with American food in the dubs, but those are the mushroom boosts. And you also have like an infinite one as well. And Ghastly actually makes his appearance in here by replacing the Boo item that steals, you know, a different opponent's item. And then the ever controversial Rare Candy is actually replacing the Star for invincibility. And then we still have Bananas, which is fine. I don't really know what they would replace a banana with. Maybe like Grimers for like a sludge or something like that. Maybe a muck or whatever. But I'm sure bananas exist in the Pokemon world, so no harm. And of course, the Master Ball is replacing the Blue Shell. Great choice, really. I feel like an idiot, though. I feel like I do this every time. I just don't remember the Blue Shell being in Mario Kart 64. Obviously it is, but in my brain I always associate it with Double Dash for whatever reason. That was the one I played most growing up. But either way, all really solid picks that just help this game feel more like a Pokemon game. Overall, I mean, I had a spectacular time playing this game. Like I said earlier, I think this one perhaps blends best with the Mario Kart world. Like it feels like it could be its own game, and I'm surprised it's not. So I had an absolute blast playing this, and I highly, highly recommend you all check this one out. Alrighty, that is going to bring us to the end of the video here, the end of Pokemon Kart 64, and I had a great time. I mean, I really don't see how you can have a bad time with Mario Kart 64. It's a genre-defining Mario Kart game. I mean, it literally made Mario Kart what it is today. It's not the first, and it's not the best. I'm more of a Double Dash guy, but that's a topic for another time. These awesome ROM hacks, not just Pokemon Kart 64, but the other Kart 64 ROM hacks, they're just a fun, fresh way that breathes new life into a classic. I think Mario Kart 64 is the best kart racer on the 64. If you're a Diddy Kong fan, I can't help you, but Mario Kart 64, it's just better. But either way, I think I had a fantastic time playing this game. I didn't experience any glitches or anything like that. The cartridge works great. I really cannot recommend enough that you guys play Pokemon Kart 64. So again, huge shout out to Shrugboat and anybody else who was involved in creating this awesome ROM hack. And you know, if Pokemon Kart 64 is not for you, there's bound to be another one out there that is. It seems to be endless. It seems to be endless. There's just so many different Mario Kart 64 ROM hacks out there. Maybe I'll do another one. I guess I can't close that door permanently because I did that once, and here we are. So either way, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you all got something out of it. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below. I'll do my best to get back to you on that. And if there's any other thing you want to see from me in the future, leave that down below as well. I'm always open to new ideas, but until next time, I'll see you all later.